Hello there and welcome to Times Exclusive. My name is Elvis Howa-howa. This is a program that takes a look at issues of national importance. It can be about politics or any other social issue. And today we're talking to Dr. Janna. He's an economic strategist as well as National Executive Committee member of the People's Party. Remember, this program is brought to you courtesy of Rainbow Paints.
Weather Shield, another brand from Rainbow Paints. This is Ultimate. An extreme high-performance acrylic smooth textured finishing with ultraviolet absorption and maximum flexibility properties for wall finishes. A built-in fungicide to resist molds. Simple to use, quick drying, water-resistant binding power, low dirt retention, and hides hairline cracks. Suitable for use on all exterior walls, be it plaster, concrete, or brickwork. Available in a wide range of colors in 5 and 20-liter containers. Contact us today in Blantyre 01841-813, 01841-871, Lilongwe 01755-901. Email info@rainbowpaints.biz. Rainbow Paints. Peace of mind, part of the deal.
Hello there, if you're just joining us, and welcome to Times Exclusive with me, Elvis Howa-howa, and today we're speaking to Dr. Janna, economic strategist and, of course, National Executive Committee member of the People's Party. And we're here to talk everything PP. Dr. Janna, let me welcome you to Times Exclusive.
Pleasure mine.
Okay. Let's begin on the note of what happened in 2014 when Dr. Joyce Banda, the incumbent then, what went wrong for you when you look at the situation? What do you think went wrong for you to lose the election in 2014?
First of all, I think we'll have to start from the premise that the 2 years of Dr. Joyce Banda and PP in government was by accident.
Okay. What do you mean by accident?
By accident, meaning that we were ushered into government, as a result of the demise of the sitting president.
Okay.
And Dr. Joyce Banda, who was not actively involved in government at the time, as you know, she was sidelined, literally under house arrest, but by virtue of the constitution, as vice president, she had to take over. So the 2 years from 2012 to 14 was more or less finishing, a term that had already started. So a quick, sort of fast-tracked strategy had to be put in place, and that one was primarily based on a recovery, to recover the economy. Things had gone so bad, and it was very important that the economy be recovered. And this is why she immediately brought the team together and said, our strategy to recover the economy should be, first of all, to address the economic recovery program. And this was the primary consideration at the time. So at the same time, while we were in government, we were now planning to be in government come the elections. So here we had a two-pronged approach. First of all, the short-term strategy for now, and then the long-term strategy as a party in government.
Do you feel that you mishandled things like Cashgate, for instance, which emerged? It had happened before, this was reviewed through forensic audit reports, etc. But it was well known during your time.
Yes.
Do you believe that cost you the election?
It cost the election because of misperceptions. I'll tell you why. Because if anything, it was Dr. Joyce Banda's courage and readiness to take a risk that she decided to take on Cashgate head on. The advice from the donors were very clear. There's a lot of pilferage in government, there's plunder in government, and the economy is going downslope. If this is not arrested, this economy is going to go bankrupt. And the donors are losing confidence in this government and in this economy. So she had to take Cashgate head on. And you rightly said that Cashgate had already been there for years. And everybody who has been in the civil service knows that the systematic pilferage of public resources has been there as a matter of habit. So government decided, under the tutelage of Dr. Joyce Banda, that something must be done. And don't forget that there had been an audit report already, which had highlighted this plunder of resources. It went to Parliament. Nothing was done by that government. So Dr. Joyce Banda, in her wisdom, decided that we must have an external audit.
Do you believe you mishandled that issue?
Not at all. Not at all. It was not mishandled. It was done knowing fully well that it could cost us elections. But you see, somebody had to take a bite at this to stop it. And Dr. Joyce Banda showed a lot of courage. So for her to actually, take, Cashgate head on and do this, it was risky. Yes, and she said it, that I'm doing this knowing that it could cost me elections, but it must be stopped. And if it has to be stopped, it must be stopped now. Because even if we go into government next year, with this overhang, it will not help us as a government.
After the 2014 elections, Dr. Joyce Banda went out of the country. She lived in a couple of countries, South Africa, United States of America, and she came back just recently. What was she doing in those 5 years?
During those 5 years, first of all, why did she leave? The question of why she left. She felt it was important that she left so that, the incoming government, would not look at her and blame her for their own, mismanagement of the economy.
Was she not afraid of President Peter Mutharika? Because we understand that the two don't really see eye to eye. And we know that President Peter Mutharika and some members of his current cabinet were arrested when Dr. Joyce Banda took over in 2012. They were kept at a police station in the Lumba Zinlilongwe, just in the outskirts, so just as you get into Doha. Wasn't she afraid of President Peter Mutharika?
Well, the 6 were arrested because they flouted the law, or they were intending to flout the law.
So wasn't she afraid that President Mutharika was going to pay back in some way?
Oh, these are the risks that you take when you're in government, That's a typical African syndrome, When a new government comes in, they're always looking for the previous government and try to find fault with the previous government, so even for their own misdemeanor.
That was what Dr. Banda was doing.
To run away?
No, to President Mutharika.
No. Don't forget that this President Mutharika, who came into power, was not the one who she took over from. This was a new Mutharika who has come into power.
But he was related. He was a brother.
He was related. He was related.
Yeah.
So when we look at the issue of governance, it's not just the president that you look at. You also look at the people around the president. The 6 people who were, you call them arrested, were the people who were very close to President Mutharika. How powerful, how much power they had over the president is something that we don't know, but they definitely did have a lot of power. So for Dr. Joyce Banda, she felt like we should give them space. She should not be here and be pointed at as if she's the cause of their problem. But obviously, there is always that element of revenge. And these people were bitter because they were arrested. But you see, it was not her. Let's get this very, very. You see, we should not talk about the president as if she's the one who arrested them.
They were arrested under, that was the question.
Under her presidency because they broke the law.
When the then president, Joyce Banda, was away for close to 5 years, there was a lot of disarray within the People's Party. There was a lot of leadership wrangles with them, people trying to take over. The then member of the People's Party, Mr. Oladipo, was trying to be president, etc. This and that. He even came out in the public and said, you can't have a president who is not in the country, still being a leader of a political party and being elsewhere. And then this also led to you losing some of your key members. Mr. Rof Juma left, and some other members defected to other parties, other political parties. What did you make of that period?
Of course, her presence left a vacuum in the leadership, all right? But the party was still there. Now, political opportunism is it's a matter of nature, okay? The people who left, if you see when they left where they are today, you can see that now it's a question of saying, wow, did I make the right decision or not? But this is a political opportunism. And I think those people who left really did not have that commitment to the party, because this was the best time for them to really show commitment to the party. You see, because the most important thing, of course, leadership is always there. You are carrying the mantle of the party. But it's the grassroots that are very important. To give the grassroots the confidence that the party is still there and it is strong, okay? Fortunately, even to the amazement of the president herself, I mean, Dr. Joyce Banda, when she arrived, you know, she found that the party was solid in the grassroots, okay? People had not, contrary to what she was being told, okay, after the departure of these, some you might call them strong hands, the party was still strong, okay? So it's where now the difference is between other parties and the People's Party. In the absence of leadership, this party was still ticking in the grassroots.
Do you think that will cost you the election again next year, her absence over the last 5 years? Because when you speak to some members of the public, when you're using public transport, when you're walking on the streets and you find people engaged in political debate, they're saying, how can you vote for someone who left the country for 5 years simply because our party lost?
She did not leave because her party lost. You see, when you have experienced something like that, unless you are giving up completely, all right, you go somewhere and try and consolidate, okay? The party needed not a new direction, but the same direction, but different strategies. And this is exactly what she was doing, okay? When she was out of the country, it doesn't mean that she was not, communicating with the rest of us, okay? And so she was getting these messages. Some people were saying, oh, the party is dying, oh, people are leaving, and so forth. But she knew there are certain people who started with her, with this party, from the very beginning. And most of those people were still there. So the party was intact, okay? In fact, if it hadn't been for these people, she wouldn't have come back. Because, she had these, very important and well-paying assignments in Europe. At the same time, she was doing, her own studies, just trying to keep abreast of things, okay? So because of the confidence that she was given by those who she started with, who were still in the party, she decided last minute that, no, it's better for me to go back home.
Let's talk about the electoral laws, the electoral bills. One of them was the 50+1 amendment. They wanted to change the laws to make sure that whoever wins the presidential race, whoever becomes president, should win by 50+1 of the votes that have been cast. This bill was shot down in Parliament. Some of the members who were used to help in shooting down this bill, most members of Parliament belong to your party, the People's Party. Was there a consensus? Did you meet to agree and to say, we're going to help the DPP shoot down the 50+1 electoral bill?
I'm glad you're choosing your words very carefully, because indeed some of the members were from the People's Party, and they were used. I'm just using your words. They were used. That's what I was talking about, political opportunism. Okay, this is why the party went up in arms against our leader in Parliament, Raf Juma then, okay? And it is because of that disagreement, that's why Raf Juma had to leave. And then, you know, Raf Muhone took over, okay? Because the people in the grassroots said, we never met, we never gave you the mandate, okay, to speak for us, because you didn't know our opinion.
There were reports that there was an agreement. You went. Some members of the People's Party went to Sanjik, to Kamuzu Palace, and met President Peter Mutharika.
That's right. That's
and they
right.
discussed, they negotiated the return of the former president, Dr. Joyce Banda, that she was going to return and she was not going to be persecuted or prosecuted, basing on the fact that you helped them shoot down these bills.
Yes, this was one of the stories that was being pondered about, but you can be rest assured from what I'm telling you that it did not come from the neck of People's Party, okay. And if you follow the governance of the party, the neck is the body that makes decisions of that nature, because that's a policy decision now, you know. So the neck never met to discuss this issue, but some people, out of opportunism, took it upon themselves because they wanted some monetary benefits, okay? And indeed, that's what they did. But people can always claim that we met this, you know, this story about, oh, we have talked to the chief, I've spoken to my constituencies, and all this, the politicians have that tendency of telling people that I have consulted when they have not.
If there was no consensus within the People's Party to help the DPP shoot down these bills, were you then in control as a party of all your members in Parliament?
It's unfortunate that the person who was in control of the party, as our leader in the party, was actually siding with the others who wanted to side with the government, unfortunately. Okay, so that, you know, threw the party, you know, sort of in confusion, total confusion. Okay, so the outcome, as you know, is that people like Raf Juma had to leave the party because of that. Really, come to think about it, it's all about governance. And I like some of the positions that Times has taken, you know, the positions you have taken when you're talking to some of the political parties, when you say, who is the boss in the political party? Okay, is it you or is it the people? Because all the people who are voted into these positions are voted there in trust. Okay, they're supposed to go back and seek a clean mandate on some very, you know, serious policy decisions like this one, which was not done. And this is why there was that kind of a sort of disarray and so forth. No, we cannot deny the fact that that caused a bit of disarray in the party. Yes.
You're watching Times exclusive here on Times TV, and you're with me, Elvis Howa-howa. Today we're talking to Dr. Jerry Janna. He's an economic strategist as well as National Executive Committee member of the People's Party. Remember, we're discussing everything People's Party today. Dr. Janna, let's proceed a little bit more before we go for the break. Dr. Banda is currently writing support. Is she standing next year? Let's get this clear. Is she contesting as a presidential candidate for the People's Party during next year's elections?
She definitely is standing. And this is unanimous from the party that she must stand as the torchbearer of the party. And so, yes, she is standing.
Okay. Yeah. We'll be back very shortly after this break, because remember, this program is brought to you courtesy of Rainbow Paint.
Weather Shield, another brand from Rainbow Paints. This is Ultimate. An extreme high-performance acrylic smooth textured finishing with ultraviolet absorption and maximum flexibility properties for wall finishes. A built-in fungicide to resist molds. Simple to use, quick drying, water-resistant binding power, low dirt retention, and hides hairline cracks. Suitable for use on all exterior walls, be it plaster, concrete, or brickwork. Available in a wide range of colors in 5 and 20-liter containers. Contact us today in Blantyre 01841-813, 01841-871, Lilongwe 01755-901. Email info@rainbowpaints.biz. Rainbow Paints, peace of mind, part of the deal.
If you're just joining us, welcome. This is Times exclusive here on Times TV with me, Elvis Howa-howa, where we talk to a variety of guests on a variety of issues. It can be politics or many other social issues that are happening in the country. And today we're joined by Dr. Janna. He's an economic strategist as well as National Executive Committee member of the People's Party. If she's standing as a torchbearer for the People's Party, Dr. Janna, let's proceed next year. Why are we hearing reports that the party is engaged in alliance talks with the UTM, with the Malawi Congress Party? There have been those reports of late. There have been stories that have been published in the media. They're making rounds in the public domain.
Well, you know, in politics, there's nothing like a permanent enemy in politics. You rally for a cause. Okay.
What's the cause in this case?
Let me explain. You rally for a cause, and in this particular case, you want to be in government to change the direction, the course of the direction of the of government and the economy. Everybody appreciates, I think, that things have gone back to where they were in 2012 and worse. So those who have the same common, understanding and same idea, they think it's time to change course.
Were things any better during your time?
This is for the people to say. But I can tell you for sure that within the 2 years, things had changed completely. Restoration of services in the economy within the first 100 days. Power blackouts completely eliminated. And you saw that we did not have these long queues for fuel. You see, the other interesting thing that people don't talk about is the resurgence of the manufacturing sector, which was actually downsized to about 35% levels. And by 2014, when PP government was leaving, it was about 74%, and going up. Okay, what does that mean? What did that mean? It meant that companies had to redeploy people. Okay, so job creation and so forth. And there are some very direct policies. You see, Joyce Banda, as a person, is always pro-poor, driven. Her policies are pro-poor. You know what she did with the women, the underprivileged, the youth, directly impacting them, because the People's Party's belief is that there is no way any economy can develop if 3/4 of the people are left behind. You can have whatever GDP growth you want, but if it does not trickle down to the people and improve the standard of living of the people, that's not a development.
If Dr. Banda is to get into an alliance within a political party, what would be her position on the ballot? Will she step aside and allow some other leader? Let's take, for instance, the MCP or the UTM. Will she be the running mate? What will happen?
First of all, let's answer this issue about coalition. If the question you will have to ask yourself is, would a coalition be necessary? This is a strategy one has to come with. But how do you come to that position? You look at your strength, okay, against your opposition. And if there are other people who are willing to join hands with you because they bring in value, okay, make up for your weaknesses, and you bring strength to make up for their weaknesses, then you have a good coalition, all right? Yes, if you say that there have been some discussions, no, there have been consultations. At this stage, there have been consultations. And from what I know, it's people consulting her, okay? We have not sent a delegation out there to go and talk to. The people have been consulting her. What is her position on coalitions, okay? But the time to start talking seriously about coalition is not ripe yet.
What is her position on coalitions?
She's willing to go into coalitions, if it makes sense. If it makes sense. There's no point going into a coalition before the elections, and you win the elections, and then you have problems after the elections, then what have you achieved?
What's the strategy to sell People's Party? How are you going to sell this product?
People's Party is the party of the people, for the people, and by the people. All right? The people decide, okay, which is the course of direction, okay? And we're trying to focus on the standard of living of the people. Things must change in this country.
Specifically, go into specifics. What sort of issues are you targeting? What sort of areas are you targeting?
One, employment, job creation, okay? Job creation is the all-important thing, and People's Party look at this. And job creation doesn't necessarily mean to be employed, okay? Job creation means creating opportunities for people so that they can earn a living, all right? Once you involve the population in some economic activities directly, all right, they, in turn, are going to be the agents for development. Because one, the government coffers are going to be growing. At the moment, one of the biggest problems of Malawi is that only very, very few people are feeding millions. And Malawi Revenue Authority is struggling, okay? Because you do not have a broadened tax base. Taxation cannot be the only source of revenue, okay? So our strategy is actually to create a middle income bracket, okay? Where Malawians are able to employ other Malawians, not just depend on government.
How do you intend to do that?
Create jobs.
How?
Let me tell you something. You know, some people have claimed that they are going to create 1 million jobs. And I agree, it is possible to create 1 million jobs. If you look around at the destruction that we have caused in our forests, we cannot leave that unattended to. Elvis, if we don't do anything about the forests, deforestation right now, and we cause desertification in this country, we are doomed. So one of the strategies will be to reclaim the forests, to reforest Chikangawa, Dedza, to reforest Zomba, and all those. And for you to do that, you will need 300, 500 people, okay? So you're creating jobs. The same people will do the planting, the same people will protect the forests from these fires and so forth. So immediately, once you put resources to replanting these forests, you are guaranteed about 500,000 jobs. Secondly, if we come with incentives to attract foreign direct investment in this country, which she did in a very short time. You know, she managed to regain the confidence of the donors and, you know, investors who were coming into this country. And that was within the 2 years. If we have the next 5 years to do that, we'll see more factories being built. I was at Admark, you remember? I was at Admark. And within those 2 years, we managed to actually put up 3 cotton ginneries. Between them, we were employing about 12,000 people. Okay? And these are directly employed. Okay? Now, the next move was actually now for Admark to go into the actual, you know, growing of the cotton. So that along the value chain, we have investment all along the value chain, from the growing, from the processing, from the marketing. Okay? So now you are creating job opportunities for many people. Once you do that, you are broadening the economic base of the country, first. And secondly, you are broadening the tax base so that at least the MRA can smile, all right? And you're improving the standard of living of the people in Malawi.
The complaint about Admark has been generally that they don't offer good prices for people once they grow their crops and try to sell. Recently there was a story about pigeon peas, fetching very low prices. How do you turn around that institution? Did things even improve during your time?
It did. They did quite a lot. You didn't hear of, you know, food shortages, you know, while during our time, during the 2 years. And you heard of this, you see that the whole purpose of going into manufacturing by Admark was a deliberate policy. It was a strategy to diversify Admark's operations. Because we knew that if Admark was able to create a huge revenue base, they then could assist in the social side of ADMAC, which is, buying crops from the farmers, etc., etc. You see, ADMAC's, position was one as an aggregator, but at the same time also ensuring that the farmers are given the right price. Okay, the 2 years that, the 1 year that we operated the mills, the gineries, okay, we did not have many enemies, many friends. We had a lot of enemies because we gave good prices to the farmers.
How much were you offering?
Oh, now it's off the top of my head, I can't. But definitely we're offering more, okay, than, and that's a very important thing. If that was in the cotton, if we did the same thing in tobacco, in the major crops and so forth, so that you have a champion, okay, who is going to be determining the prices, okay, then the farmers will not get a raw deal.
What's the PP's strategy on issues to do with, for instance, corruption? Because this is one of the issues that have been impacting Malawi so negatively. There was even a report by an institution called ECAM, Economic Association of Malawi, a couple of years back that did a research, and they found out that 30% of Malawi's budget goes down the drain through corruption. What's the PP's strategy on corruption?
In the PP, one of the things we discussed was wastage. Okay, and we did actually come up with figures like 30%. If we cut off 30% of wastage from the government, from wastage in the civil service alone, okay, that would actually be very good for our budget. Okay. Now the issue of corruption, specifically, is one that has been there for a long time. Our strategy is to look at the system itself. We can target individuals. You can remove individuals from the system. But if the system is still corrupt, you have not dealt with corruption. Okay? The IFMIS, okay? We're still talking about the IFMIS now. I don't know whether by now they have managed to get, this all sorted out. But because the IFMIS was corrupted, okay, anybody who comes is going to find loopholes in that system. So individuals are just vehicles. And if it has been institutionalized from the top to the bottom, then it's very difficult for you to deal with an issue like that.
You touched on the issue of wastage. President Joyce Banda then, former President Joyce Banda, was still living in 5 houses. She was still using a very huge entourage when going out. She had all these vehicles that she was using on a presidential convoy. Wasn't that wastage?
Have you got your figures correct?
Correct me if I'm mistaken.
It was reduced. The entourage of the president was reduced drastically during her time. Okay.
What about the convoy, the presidential convoy?
Yeah, the presidential convoy itself was reduced. It was drastically reduced.
Houses, she was still living in.
The houses were still there.
Kamuzu Palace.
Yes.
Sanjika Palace.
Oh yes.
All these houses, Chikoko Bay.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
But once again, bear with me. You're talking about the 2 years when we were supposed to complete this 5-year term of the former president, okay, and the DPP government. In those 2 years, the strategies of DPP, long-term strategies of DPP, had not featured yet, okay? This is short-term strategies to deal with the 2 years, and most importantly of all, is to recover the economy. But all these other things were supposed to come in the long-term strategy if we had gone into government, come 2014 onwards.
There was a latest poll that was conducted by an institution at the Chancellor College, an institute, and it said that Dr. Banda is the most trusted among all political leaders in the country, but she called a very low percentage, if I'm not mistaken. What's your take on that trust which Malawians have for Dr. Banda? Where does it come from?
You see, to us, that is really good news. Because if you do not have, if you cannot trust politicians, all right, you know that you are playing a losing game. Leaders must be trusted because they are the ones who are anchoring the policy. And if you have got a leader you can trust, and a leader who is courageous enough like she was willing to take risks, was selfless and was looking at poor policies, all right? To me, the rest falls in place, okay? To me, there is a, sort of dysfunctionalism between what they said about being trusted and the party not doing very well. But there are two things here. There's the party and there is the leader, okay? It's very difficult most of the times for the party to shape up the mindset of the leader, okay? But it is easy for the leader to shape the mindset of the people she is leading, or he is leading, okay? So for as long as you have a trusted leader who is determined, a trusted leader who is selfless, a trusted leader who is courageous enough, she will be able to shape the party. And she's been doing that ever since she came, this short while. I think that's what she's been trying to do, trying to consolidate on the gains that we already had. And by the way, the most important thing which distinguishes us from the other parties is that, we are not novices in this. We have been in it for 8 years. And out of that 8 years, 2 years we have been in government, okay? So we are not starting from, from scratch. We're going to continue from where we stopped as a basis for our long-term strategy.
Will the People's Party not become another family party? Because we know there have been complaints, concerns that some political parties are family parties. We can give examples here. The United Democratic Front, its first president, Dr. Bakiri Mulu, is the first president of a democratic Malawi. It was simply handed over, then handed over consequently. One would argue to his son, Dr. Mulu, who's the Minister of Health. We can say the same thing about the Democratic Progressive Party. Its founder, the late Dr. Bingu Mutharika, the former president, handed over to his brother, Professor Peter Mutharika. They had a convention, but political analysts, critics have argued that it was simply rubber stamping. There wasn't proper election. There weren't proper elections that took place there because you knew exactly who was going to win. Will the People's Party not become one of those because we know there is a son, Roy, waiting in the background?
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you say about our convention?
You tell me.
I'm not supposed to be asking the question.
You tell me. You tell me. Will it not become a family party?
No, not at all. Not at all. And our convention proved it. Okay.
By voting for Dr. Joyce Banda again.
By voting for Dr. But she wasn't alone. Eh? Somebody actually contested. Okay. There were two people who contested for this position. Okay. Probably it was the only party. All right. And, our convention was peaceful. Our convention was very systematic, administratively trusted, and there was nothing like, overriding, the people's voice. People spoke. Okay. Now,
did they not speak out of fear, or voted out of fear, or voted out of the founder's syndrome?
In the people's...
Say, let's just vote for her because she founded the party. Let's vote for her because she's the one we think she can do well.
In the People's Party, it's very interesting that people are so free to talk about everything. Okay? And she's a listening president. And she knows, one of the things she is very, very adamant about is governance. Things must go according to the rules. Okay? So what does your constitution say? If this is what it says, that we must do. Okay? And this is why she insisted that no, every position must be open. If we're going to have a credible convention, every position must be free. Okay? So there's nothing, there was no fear factor in it. There was nothing like the fear factor in it. Everybody voted freely.
Why should Malawians vote for you again in 2019? Why do you think they should do that? Because first of all, your leader wasn't here for 5 years. Cashgate came during your time, etc., etc. Even the appointment of people in public positions. One would argue you yourself were probably appointed because you belong to the PP. You were given a position at that matter.
Yes.
What would you say?
Okay. I think the appointments were on merit. And you only have to see what happened. Okay? I can answer that one. The second one, why should they vote for us? Okay. because there's a history that bears us out. What did we do in 2 years? What did we do in the first 100 days? What did we do to impact on people's lives? Ordinary people's lives. You have to go in the villages to ask people, and they'll tell you, this is Boma.
People have questioned that sort of social program, Kwamangirantu Nyumba, for instance.
Yes.
Called Moods Transformation Fund.
Right.
Then people were given cows. They're saying that was bad because it wasn't teaching people to really be independent. You were giving them things, building houses for them instead of empowering them. You're an economist. Instead of empowering them, do those things on their own. What do you say to that, Dr.
Which people? The targeted poor? You're talking about the targeted poor people who were living in grass-thatched houses? Okay? And the old people who did not know where they were standing when it was raining because the roofs were leaking? Those targeted few people to build them houses? Is something wrong with that? It happens everywhere. Okay? These, in other countries, it's a social safety net. They give them cash. Okay? And so forth. They may have a good house, but they have no food. Okay? So they give them cash. These are social safety nets. And you target the poorest among the poor. Okay? Now, giving cows. Oh, that was economic empowerment. The same people today have got 10 cows. And the understanding was that, they should actually give others.
What's the difference with the Malaton Cement Subsidy Program? Because there is now the Malaton Cement Subsidy Program. And economists have argued again and again, these sort of programs are the ones that are killing this nation. People are relying too much on politicians and relying too much on the government to do things for them, instead of the politicians sitting down and say, hey, guys, come on, what can we do to change the environment so that people are able to go in there, establish their own companies, employ people, pay taxes, and live healthy and wealthy lives.
But once again, let me repeat what I said. Targeting the poor among the poorest among the poor, okay, is not supposed to make to create a lazy nation, okay. It's actually to demonstrate to you and me that we can do more to the people who are poor in our own societies. There was a time when we were very concerned about looking after our own grandparents, okay. That is dying out. Okay, and if you have got a government that is actually isolating some of these things and say, all right, fine, we still have to do, maybe it will create this necessary empathy for us to start looking at this thing and say, this should not be a government responsibility. Okay, we should all be doing this. All right, handouts is something else. Okay, and as I said earlier on, economic empowerment is the gist of this PPP government. Economic empowerment. Get them involved in the economic activities of the nation. That's the most important thing.
Dr. Jerry Janna, an economist as well as the National Executive Committee member of the People's Party. Thank you very much for coming through to Times Exclusive.
It's a pleasure.
And all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And that's where we leave it in today's edition of Times Exclusive. You were with me, Elvis Howa-howa, and I was speaking to Dr. Jerry Janna, National Executive Committee member of the People's Party. Join us again next time when we bring you another edition of Times Exclusive. Remember, this program is brought to you under the auspices of Rainbow Paints.